War Eagle, folks, it's another Wednesday night, and that means it's time for Auburn Family Night. This is our favorite day of the week, I should say, every single week where we get together and talk with you, the Auburn family. It's all about you, your calls, your questions, your comments, your topics. We're going to get into everything and anything Auburn here. Let's jump into it right now. War Eagle Auburn family, and a special War Eagle and welcome to those of you that consider yourselves part of the E2C network family. Thank you so much for joining us, whether you are watching live, whether you're on the replay, whether you are watching on Facebook, YouTube, other places and times and multiverses with which you can get this content. We appreciate you being here and being part of our little family within the Auburn family. Got a lot to talk about this evening. There are plenty of things out there, and what a great night to do it on Auburn Family Night, where you take center stage on the show. Yes, I am on camera. Yes, I am generating most of the content with which you're listening to, but it is about you tonight, so don't be shy. A couple of things that you can do to get the stream started off on a good note for us, whether you are live or on the replay, is smash the like button. It's a huge help. I know it seems like it's redundant that we ask about this all the time as content creators, but I cannot stress that enough. Smashing that like button wherever you are, whenever you are watching this is a huge, huge help. If you're not following, subscribing, that's always a great help. But especially for a particular event like this, you got to interact. You got to tell me what's on your mind. So don't be shy in the comments section or in the live chat, especially for the live stream. Let me know you're here, first of all, with a War Eagle, where you're checking in from, and obviously what's on your mind. Don't be shy. Jump in here with the conversations this evening. If you do want to take advantage of something that we do offer on Auburn Family Night, it is our call-in link, which is always brought to you by our friends at allthingsauburn.net. They are a great place for you to stay at Auburn. When you are wanting to come visit that loveliest village on the plains, visit them at allthingsauburn.net. So please do check them out. They bring you the call-in link. That link is available, should be available. I believe I posted it up there at the very top of the chat on YouTube. If it's not there, let me know. It should be. And you can access that strictly on YouTube. So don't be shy. Jump in here. So while you guys are getting geared up, while you are thinking about the things that you want to discuss, while you're starting to say hello like Mr. WT did, let me give you something to start off with. First of all, I call it setting the table, but I want to make a quick announcement at the start of the show for those of you that check in for the first part and maybe check out. Tomorrow night, we got a very special live stream with our friend Clint Richardson and his annual Crazy Auburn uniforms that he puts out every single year. That it's a very interactive with you, the audience, type of event as well. That's at 8 p.m. tomorrow, Thursday, the 27th. Join us for that live stream where he'll talk a little bit about the uniforms that he created this year with y'all's help and have a little fun with it and probably answer some of your questions as well. So that's something to keep in mind. Let me set the table other than that for you right now. Lots of stuff maybe to discuss today. There is some news this week around the NCAA. I guess I should say, I'm going to get used to saying this at some point. The EA Sports College Football 25 game that most of us that played that original iteration of the game are waiting for. You know, there's been news surrounding that this week with the loudest stadiums list where Auburn fell into that. They released some sights and sounds type clips today, with Auburn actually being one of the major clips in it, featured in a particular segment of it. So there's that part of the discussion that we can get into a little bit. I know in summer, especially, the recruiting discussion points just resound and carry over. We will definitely be able to talk about a little bit of that. But as we always stress here, our focus is not so much on the decision-making process of these 17, 18-year-olds. It's the ones that have committed, transferred into Auburn that we will focus on. There have been some that transferred out, or decommitted and stuff like that. And I know that maybe it's got some of you concerned in your feels, all that stuff. We won't dive into too much of that, but obviously that is a fair game topic as well. Bruce Pearl was in Birmingham this week, and made the announcement that there will be a major game, or there is a major game in the works for this season in Birmingham. No date, no times, no opponent yet, but he did tease that. So that's a little bit of interesting news as well that might be something to get you interested this evening. There is that, and plenty of other things that we can discuss that I'm not even scratching the surface on. So it's all about you. It's all about your topics, and it's all about what is on your mind this evening. War Eagle to our friend Thomas, who is a regular here, one of our Conquer Club members. We appreciate you, sir, being so dedicated to hanging out. He brought us a good round of thoughts, well prepared thoughts from our last Auburn family night about I forget. Oh man, I'm blanking on what it was specifically you dove into, but it was just some great stuff. I remember Bryant as well, one of our Conquer Club members, checking in from Tallahassee. WT says, "Woo, a show with Dustbuster. I cannot wait. Can I clarify for the sake of Clint? Clint is not the Dustbuster. Just because he was here for that incident on that live stream, that is not his fault, nor should be associated with him. I'm trying to protect you, Clint. I'm trying, but apparently WT wants to keep it associated with you and whenever you show up. It would be hilarious one day. I wish I had the time, the energy to go back into the bowels of the very first live streams we started doing, and one of the first that Clint appeared here on, and maybe the first with him. And that comment in that moment happened at the very end of the show. So if anybody wants to do their homework and go watch some really bad live streams from the past, meaning I didn't know what I was doing, not that I know what I'm doing now, go dig for that. Go find that clip. And who knows, we may feature it in a different way, in a more interesting way. Thomas was talking about improvements last week, and we took a holistic approach to that last week about the team, about the atmosphere, about the facilities, the coaching staff, the recruiting. It was a great, well-rounded conversation and focus on improvements and what we think and believe is taking place at Auburn right now. Listen here, folks. Mr. Micah Wright is in the building. We've been challenging him to call into the show for months now. At this point, he is one of our somewhat good resident Bama fans over on our TikTok live streams. He has made his appearance. Will he call in this evening? That'll be interesting to watch. I've been warning him. I've been telling him that the best way to get me off his back on the TikTok streams is to show up and call in. I get it's a little bit intimidating, but don't be shy. We can even take calls from Bama fans from time to time, as long as you behave yourself. If you can't behave yourself, we'll let you say hi and let you leave. But he has made an appearance again. I think he's made an appearance once before. But we'll see if he calls in tonight. Yes, Thomas does bring the heat on the calls when he comes in. He has his notebook during the season where he's taking notes for us about things he believes and isn't seen. Maybe it's interesting to hear his take on the decommitment today, if he's got one, with what was his name? I'm blanking on it right now, who decided to go somewhere else. Micah says, I try. This heat has been killing me. I've got a migraine, so I may just be a hello and gone. That's fine. That's fine. You've made step number one, just being here. You're not going to let Clint have not be associated with that, huh? That's going to be a rough thing for poor old Clint from now on. I hate it for him. I hate it, but it is what it is. We don't choose what we get associated with, but it is. And I do enjoy having Clint on here because obviously he's very well versed in Auburn uniform stuff, Auburn aesthetic stuff. Obviously, we've talked about a number of topics with him, but especially Auburn history. One of the things that he obviously has really talked about, and I agree with him on, is that Auburn fans don't know their history as much as they should collectively. The big pointers and the main pieces, but diving deep into some of that. And I would venture to say, and I believe I've heard him say here even, that Auburn itself has sometimes not done a great job of sharing, pushing out their history as much as they could. And that's one of the things that he loves to talk about as well. I will pull the curtain back just a little bit. He and I have talked a lot about the need to and the desire to do something Auburn history related through live stream, or it probably would be more of a video that you could come back and watch, not a live stream. We just never really figured out when, how, what format to do that. You never know, though. There's always, I think what people don't know about what we work on here at E2C Network is there's always it's like a virtual board. There's not an actual board, a virtual board of things and ideas that I've got that you almost just kind of throw a dart at and see, is it time for that? If it's not, you kind of move it down, all that stuff. There's all kinds of things that we're working on. One of the things I've hinted at a little bit with our Conquer Club, actually two of them, I'm getting the itch to go ahead and pull the trigger on those two things. It's just, once again, had a lot of news dropping in the middle of the week that's kind of slowed things down for me a little bit. But we'll see. Clint's going to be here tomorrow. And even when we get done talking about the uniforms, the majority of them, I'm sure he'll stick around and answer as many comments and questions directed at him that he can. He usually stays on with us for about an hour. So it should be a fun stream tomorrow. I hope you guys can join us. Oh, Micah. Let me clarify, because I don't want Micah's comment to be taken out of context. He was there for I gave someone a shellacking today on TikTok. One of the things that I have discovered on TikTok, and I hate that I have to be this way, but you almost kind of have to give it back to the TikTok people as much as they want to dish it out. And that's kind of my rule. Don't dish it out if you can't take it. Because if you don't, they'll just run over you. And someone tried to take a shot at me because we had only 2,000 followers. Whoa, what a devastating blow on TikTok of all things that may be gone at some point. So I went on him a little bit, but that's what he's referencing. It was entertaining. It's a different feel. It's a different vibe over on there on TikTok, especially with the Bama fans. A lot of little brother mentality over there from the Bama fans. WT says Clint's knowledge of uniforms and associated things is second to none. I enjoy hearing what he shares. Well, you will get that and then some tomorrow. All right, let's jump into some things. It doesn't have to be Auburn news, like recency stuff. It can be. That's usually the most direct thing that is on our mind at the time. But let's get into some things maybe that you're thinking about, have questions about, just thought processes. What is on your mind Auburn related tonight? This is Auburn Family Night after all, if I can get the words out correctly. And what do you want our conversation to focus on to start off tonight? Because I've been yammering on about a myriad of things for a while now. Let me put us here at probably the biggest talking point, and this is, I think, the title of the show. Is Auburn Stadium one of the most intimidating? This is referencing I don't know if you call it an article or if it was I think it was just a graphic that EA Sports and the College Football 25 game put out about, in their mindset, I guess, and I guess in the game too, who is the most intimidating, who is the most difficult, who is the best college football atmosphere with their stadium and everything that's involved with that. The great thing about that is Auburn's on the list. The bad thing about that is that Auburn's a little bit further down the list than it probably should be. And it's not even about so much where they were on the list. It's more so about who is ahead of them, who should and shouldn't be ahead of them. I think that is where a lot of the conversation shifted around and was focused on for the Auburn perspective. And I'm sure there were some other ones out there that wanted to discuss the particulars of this list, where they fell, where they didn't fall. So I'm trying to pull it up right now for you all. The top 10 toughest places to play according to College Football 25, and I've only got the top 10 pulled up, but Auburn was at 14th. You have got Kyle Field at number 1, Alabama at number 2, LSU at number 3, Ohio State at number 4, Georgia 5, Beaver State and Penn State at 6, Camp Randall, which is Wisconsin, at 7, Oklahoma at 8, FSU at 9, and then Florida at 10. Now, the fact that this is the majority of SEC teams does not shock me. A lot of them should be on there. But when you think about it, there's probably some more SEC teams that could be a little bit higher up, and the order could be a little bit different. You got Kyle Field, that is going to be high up there. Alabama as well. I can even see Georgia the way things are going right now. Penn State needs to be there. I would argue that LSU definitely needs to be there as well. So that's at least 5 right off the bat that I have no problems with. Ohio State needs to be in there, but probably lower. Florida as well. Florida State. Here's the 2 that I have an issue with is Wisconsin and Oklahoma. Now, we're about to get more experience with Oklahoma. Frankly, Oklahoma should be further back in that list, like 10, if anything, but they shouldn't be ahead of Auburn. I think the same goes for Wisconsin. I've seen it on TV. It doesn't compare in any way to Auburn's atmosphere. But what do you guys think? Any opinions about that? I know there's a lot of hot takes out there. The one question that I have that burns inside me is Auburn's stadium one of the most intimidating? And I think so, he says. Let's see here. Atlanta just got their pick in the draft. I don't know how that's Auburn related, Micah, but I don't know what that is. WT, I just realized what you were addressing here. Wouldn't that be a good thing to stream during tomorrow? Does anybody want to watch that? That tells you how focused I am in on it. Let me put it to you this way. Tomorrow night your time will be much better spent watching our show if you're an Auburn fan. I get that that's important to a lot of people out there, and you will see all you need to see. You will see all the opinions, incorrect or not, that you need to see after the fact. So don't miss them. I think Clint would agree with me on this, that he will have no desire to miss out that. Micah says it's not related, but figured you'd keep up with any Auburn players that might go. Well, and that's the thing, Micah. There are no players that are highly expected to go in this draft. The best case would have been Janai Broom. He chose to stay. Nobody else, I believe, entered the process at all this time around. And Jalen Williams is the best option that Auburn has with getting picked up in the NBA draft. There's been a big push for him today with Bruce putting some stuff out, the team talking about him over the last couple of days. And I will continue to say this, that if there's any NBA team out there that will give Jalen Williams a chance, they will not be disappointed. Jalen Williams is a loyalty guy. You can prove that by his tenure. He is a guy that has consistently got better, came onto the stage with a little bit of flair too, and then got better as he arrived. So to me, if you are investing in Jalen Williams as an NBA team, you are investing in someone who's going to be there for the long haul. I'm not saying Jalen Williams is going to be the next greatest NBA player, but I am saying that your investment in him will be something of value and something that you will not regret. So I think obviously those that may watch this in the future, you know by now whether or not he got drafted. I don't think there was an expectation for him to get drafted, but maybe he gets picked up in some type of free agent deal afterward. I truly hope so, because Jalen Williams, especially for what he's done for Auburn, but the game of basketball, he deserves to be on a team. He deserves to be in a NBA organization. Give him a chance. That's all we're saying. We got Chris checking in. Awesome. Thanks for checking in from Richmond, Virginia. Micah, give us a check-in. Where are you? What's your location? Not like don't tell us your GPS coordinates. We love to know where people are checking in from. You see Virginia tonight. We've got a couple of our Alabama residents already checking in early. Tallahassee, Florida. Last week, we had a really good smattering of people from across. I think we had more people not from Alabama than from it. So where are you checking in from, Micah, since you're kind of new here? New-ish to here as a rogue Bama fan who comes to our content. Let's see here. Birmingham. So another Bama resident. So Leeds, we had Pelham, Birmingham, all in the same area there. Y'all can probably smell each other. And we can smell you more than anything, Micah, because you're a Bama fan. Anyway, Micah points out as CBS puts he's the 70th best available in the NBA draft. Now, if I have this correct, there is 60 picks in 2 rounds. That puts Jalen on the outside looking in numerically by someone's opinion, a ranking of who is arbitrarily the best overall. But he's within that window, right? On somebody to take him, to take a chance on him. WT wants him to go to his Celtics. Congratulations, by the way, to the Celtics. From what I know about the coach, highly respect his position on a lot of things. And I couldn't think of a better person to see the value in somebody like a Jalen Williams. I don't know where they fall in the draft and stuff like that. That'd be a great fit if it ended up working out, even if it's not in the NBA draft. So as Micah shared with us, if he is 70th outside looking in numerically based on those rankings on CBS, but he's right there. We said hello to David a second ago. I brought his comment up. He gives us the eagle all the time. Appreciate your consistency. David, where are you checking in from? Let us know. We're getting a good round check-in for all of our commenters tonight. We've got Birmingham and the surrounding area well represented. We got Virginia. We got Panhandle of Florida represented tonight. And, of course, me in the Atlanta vicinity. I never share exactly where I am. Jackson, one of our Conquer Club members and a regular over there on TikTok. Jackson, he's here. Jackson and Dalton, if he's here, I think they've joined with me in getting you a little bit, Micah. Jalen Williams going to OK for sure. It sounds like is what he's saying. I don't care where Jalen Williams goes. I would love to see him go anywhere because all that dude needs is a chance. Give the man a chance. That's all I'm asking. David says Hamilton, Alabama. I do not know where Hamilton, Alabama is. Probably should know. I am Googling it right now to kind of get a vicinity. We're doing a good stock tonight so we've got a lower crowd night of where everybody is. I would call that the Birmingham vicinity. Outside of it, don't know where you fall in that, but there you go. There's Neil. Neil, I feel like we haven't seen you lately. I was wondering if we were going to see you coming up here soon. Micah says, you never know. I mean, I'm sure the 10th pick has been picked before a 5th, so it could happen. Not understanding exactly what you're saying. I think you're saying that some rankings have had it wrong, and like it's somebody that was projected lower got picked higher. I'm not expecting it, and I hate it, but I hope that I'm surprised by the end of the night that we're talking about Jalen Williams getting picked up by somebody. That would be great. And it'd be another feather in the cap of Bruce Pearl, because Jalen's been there with him. He's been a Bruce Pearl guy. Obviously, Bruce has been here for 10 years now. And another proof that going through Bruce's system gets you in the NBA. And we're talking about Chuma. We're talking about Isaac. We're talking about Walker and Jabari. Sharif has made it into there. A couple other guys like Bryce and Jared, I think, got 2-way contracts for a little bit. So and I forgot about JT Thor as well. So you come to Auburn, you're going to have a shot at the NBA, and this would be a great way to show that. Jackson, we brought it up a little bit earlier. EA showed us some love in the trailer. Wish we could have seen Independence, and you're referring to our Eagles, one of our Eagles, but that is only one of the ones that flies currently. You have Aria, Independence, and I believe there's a third that I can't remember that is now being trained in the rotation. It's weird to think that I have seen so many of our Eagles, and some of them have not passed away. They're just retired. Like I believe Nova is, but like Tiger and now a Spirit has been retired. That crazy, crazy bird. I think my hope is that they're saving the War Eagle flight for one last trailer, because if you think about it, this game isn't supposed to drop till the 19th, and they've spaced out their marketing for this pretty decently here. There was the teaser trailer, there was the official trailer, and now this week we're getting like a string of stuff back to back, whether it was game footage or a ranking of what we just discussed a little bit earlier. And so I got to wonder if we're going to get one more trailer for it, maybe right before SEC media days, all the conference media days get going and revved up, maybe like before July 10th. And that'll be, 10 days out from the game being released. And that's when they'll show the War Eagle flight. I think they know that will be a good sell. If they want the Auburn people to hop on, just show the War Eagle flight. It also could be something that's very hard to render and do well. And maybe you don't want to show that until you get into the game, because maybe it's not as great as they had hoped. You never know. We will see. Only a short little while longer, and we'll be playing I keep trying to call it NCAA. EA Sports, college football 25. Got to get used to that at some point. All right. Talked about a lot of different things thus far. What else is on your mind? What are you thinking about? What have you been focusing on Auburn related this week, this summer, as we've been working our way through the doldrums of summer with all college sports officially done now? One of the things that I brought up, or that was brought up in one of our Conquer Club annual call, was who from Auburn is going to be in the Olympics. And I'm sure when all trials are done that they will put out a list, as they did 3 years ago, technically, because it was only 3 years ago, not the 4 years, because of the whole pandemic thing. They'll put out a list so that you all can keep up with it. And I think all of us, think about the names like Suni Lee, and after that, there's probably not a lot that people remember off the top of their heads. But I don't know. Did anybody see the article from ESPN with Suni Lee? It's interesting. It's interesting. It's definitely a piece in there that I think if you read about it, you'll be a little bit turning your head about some things that were said in it. It also, if you're a skeptic like me, you're always skeptical of the media these days and what their angle, what they prodded her on, and what they wanted to get her to say. I don't know. But I think what you get what I'm referring to. There were some statements in that article reportedly from Suni about how her time wasn't as great as she thought it would be at Auburn. And who knows if that's all true or not. CJ brings up rooting for Jacoby Tharp, one of our greats from this past track and field season that almost helped win a national championship for the Auburn men. We'll be watching him definitely. All right. We've got our first caller. It looks like he is almost ready. Can't see his face at this moment. So I think we'll go ahead and let him in here, and let's say hi to one of our regulars. You know him, you love him. What's up, Kevin?
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing, buddy?
Fine.
It's my problem, isn't it? I did it.
Hello.
Hey, War Eagle.
War Eagle, what you got on your mind tonight?
Alvin Henderson, he
You-
committed.
well, that's who I got in my image right here. You excited about that?
Yeah, and next one it will be Caleb Cunningham.
We shall see. I know that's a lot of people's excitement around that, but my recommendation for you is to focus on who we got right now, and we'll see if anybody else. I'm sure there will be plenty of others that want to come in the class. I think we're sitting at like 15 today after the decommitment, so still plenty of room, right? You usually take somewhere in the 20s.
How come that boy decommitted?
I don't know. I don't know him personally, so I can't be there to ask him. But obviously he didn't like his situation at Auburn and wanted to decommit, which is why I say not to focus so much on the decisions of 17 and 18-year-olds.
You don't have to do it again.
And I think Juju Lewis will be the next commitment too.
So which you got to pick one. It can't be Caleb and Juju are the next one. You got to pick one. Which is it?
Both.
It can't be both. You got who's the next one? They're not going to commit at the same time. I promise you that.
Juju Lewis.
Okay, there you go. I had a feeling that you might be focused on him a little bit, but we'll see. There's a lot of excitement around him, but I'm a little skeptical myself with the situation.
Yeah.
It feels a lot like Ryan Williams.
Yeah,
See, you know what I'm talking about.
I wish we had Ron Williams.
I'm all right without him. We'll be just fine without him. We got a pretty good wide receiver room, it looks like.
Yeah, Caleb Burton.
Camden Brown, Cam Coleman, Bryce Kane, Malcolm Simmons, Perry Thompson.
Yeah.
I know I'm forgetting somebody. You got Robert Lewis, who just came in. You got Sam Jackson, and then DeAndre Lambert-Smith, the Penn State.
Don't forget Luke Deal and Brandon Frazier.
Right. If we're talking about tight ends, we can throw them into the equation as well. But how great is he? You brought up Alvin Henderson. So we flipped a commit from him because he was committed to Penn State.
Yeah.
But we also kind of stole their best wide receiver or one of the best remaining wide receivers they had at Penn State, and DeAndre Lambert-Smith. So we're just stealing from the state of Penn State right now.
I bet he will start.
I think he's got a good chance to start, my friend. When someone comes in with his level of experience and basically that, and seniority, his experience is a big thing. I think he will have a very strong chance at starting. It'll be shocking if he's not. How about that?
Yeah.
Yep. What else is on your mind, sir?
I've been praying for Brian Beatty to get out the hospital.
Well said. And so I believe if I read what the update was correctly, we did share it out on our social media. If I read what it is correctly, he is out of the hospital, but in a rehab facility now.
Yeah, rehab. Yeah.
So he's out of the hospital, it seems like, but I know it doesn't feel that way when you say a rehab facility because it's still medically based. But that's a great sign. There was a point where we were talking about, hey, is this kid going to make it? And now we're talking about what else can he surprise us with? So I'm not saying that he's not going to have some challenges and stuff like that, but it's been great news thus far.
Yeah, and I think Jaquez Hunter will have 1,000 rushing yards.
I can get on board with you on that prediction. I think that is, if that offensive line continues to improve, the passing game can give him a little bit support to make them respect that some more. Jarquez has got the skill, has got the talent, and the ability to be able to pass 1,000 yards and more. And we're not too far removed where Auburn was having consistently 1,000 yard rushing, a 1,000 yard rusher every single season. Yeah. So we know Auburn historically does a good job of producing those. And Jarquez seems well poised to do that.
And I think Peyton Thorne will have his best ever season.
Well, we're all hoping for that. I know Peyton as well. This is his last shot at it. So if he wants to go out with a bang, he's got to make it happen now.
Yeah.
Again, much like I discussed with Jarquez, he's got to have some help from all facets there. But I agree with you. I'm very hopeful for what his final season will be at Auburn. And I think every Auburn fan should be hoping for that as well. And I know that just burned some of you up after hearing me say that because you're on this Peyton Thorne hate wagon. But if you want the team to succeed, you better be hoping that Peyton Thorne succeeds too, because he's your starting quarterback. I think some of y'all need to realize that.
Yeah.
Right. What else? What else is on your mind tonight?
And the defense backs.
Are you liking what you're hearing and seeing from them?
Yeah.
I am as well. They're probably my reason that I'm a little bit more encouraged about maybe I can raise up my prediction, what my prediction might be when we get to that point because of the way they maybe have responded.
They haven't put nothing out
about Fan Day.
Yeah.
I knew exactly where you listen, Kevin. I know you've been calling long enough I know exactly what you're thinking about. No, they have not. I would not imagine that they're going to be putting out anything about that until they announce the practice schedule. Probably still several weeks away from that. They usually do that about right at or after SEC Media Days, and that'll be in the middle of July.
They said something about Caleb Cunningham. He should commit to Auburn.
Well, I'd like to think that everybody should commit to Auburn. They don't always do that. But it is nice to have so many high-profile recruits considering Auburn. It just speaks to how Auburn's stepping up its game and getting back to where it belongs. So we'll see if it works out. I got time for one more comment or question, sir.
The field goal kicker will only make 26 field goals.
Will only make 26 field goals?
Yeah, they won't miss none.
So, but you're saying they'll make all 26 of the ones they attempt this year?
Yeah.
I love it. He's 100%, knock on wood, as of this moment. So I like the prediction going forward. So,
and I think our baseball, basketball, softball team, and golf will do good too.
The whole gamut, right? Sounds like it's going to be a good year, according to Kevin. So I'm excited about that and happy to hear about that. Kevin, good to hear from you tonight. Thanks for calling in. What's up?
Can you listen to me on the Jeffrey Lee on Sunday night?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I don't get around to many other shows because I don't have the time to, but if I ever have the time to, I'll look for you.
Okay.
All right, Kevin.
War Eagle.
War Eagle. Good to hear from you. Bye. All right, that was our friend Kevin. You guys can call in on the link here on YouTube as well. Micah, don't be shy. And let's hear from you. Now, let me clarify. When you hit the link, you have the choice to be on or off camera. I know some of y'all, that's a thing with you. I get it. You don't have to be on camera. It can just be like your name. It'll be like a little person symbol. So if that's what's stopping you, don't let it be a hindrance. You don't have to show your face. Trust me, if I can show my face here, you can show yours. David brings up one of my favorite things to point out every summer. Was in Auburn this weekend, growing everywhere or going everywhere, maybe. Love Auburn in the summer. Or maybe he meant growing as in the buildings and all that stuff. I love Auburn in the summer. I love Auburn all times. But it's such a different feel. It's such a different flow. You can really get an appreciation. I did a photograph series on social media last year that really did well, Auburn at night. I have taken initial photographs of that that I wanted to put out at some point, but I got to get a few more. So I'm probably aiming for maybe right before SEC Media Days, and that starts getting churned up, I should say. Actually, you know what? Let's look. We've been talking about it some. Let's look at when SEC Media Days actually is. July 15th through the 18th. So there you go for that. You know what to expect. And as a reminder, Auburn will be on July 18th, the final day, with Arkansas, Kentucky, and Texas A&M. That's a good spread there of teams. And the ironic thing is Auburn will play all three of those. So I'm sure there will be questions surrounding that on SEC Media Days. Let's see. Baseball field looking great, coming along. It is. They have. It's been a while already. It's been done, but they connected the canopy for the new first base side club, I guess I'll call it, or premium seating with the already built overhang that was on behind home plate. So that side will have some shade in the afternoons, because the way the sun comes across, it'll still hit you most of the day when those midday games and stuff. But I'm sure people will be very much appreciative of that shade structure, the extra seating. I'm really, really excited to see how this is going to look. To my knowledge, they have not started construction or what they need to do with the War Eagle wall over there yet. I will be in Auburn, or passing through, I should say. I'm not necessarily going to Auburn in about a week to 2 weeks, I think. When I forget my time frame. So I will definitely get a good glimpse at that to see if we can get any like rumblings or things being moved around to do that. The great thing is that baseball season for college just ended. They've got all the time in the world. What they had to get fixed and what they had to get done was that first base side, because they cannot have those construction. Well, I say they cannot have. I'm sure they can. They probably do not want to have that construction continuing to go on during football season for the first 5 games, having to deal with that hindrance for Tiger Walk, the look of it, all that stuff. You want to be able to show that off. So I'd imagine that's why the emphasis is on that, and then move over to the War Eagle wall, which can be, worked on throughout the rest of the year. Didn't see much of the new scoreboard. I will also go make a look back over there. Last I had a image report for you all on social media. It was about a week and a half ago, and still groundwork or clearing of stuff was still being done. I don't get the impression that anything major has happened yet. So I'm hoping by the time that I make a pass through Auburn again in a week and a half, week to week and a half's time, there'll be something interesting that we can report on, share with you guys on social media. So it's a good idea to be following on social media. It's also, quick plug, a good idea to be on the Conquer Club. How do you get to the Conquer Club? There's a link in the description here on YouTube, or you can type in E, the number 2, the letter C, network. Well, let me back up. Patreon. Start that whole thing over. Patreon.com, which is Patreon, patreon.com/E2C network. Get you in the door there for our Discord, some other things. There are different levels if you want some different perks and to increase your level of support of what we do. But in that Discord, at the Eagle tier level, I give exclusive updates to our viewers there of like things like that. I've got something, it's not like anything juicy, but an update on something that may be transpiring. I'm going to drop in the Conquer Club at the Eagle tier later today. Just a quick plug. Join the Conquer Club at patreon.com/E2C network, $1 a month if you want to keep the lights on here. And other levels too, if you're interested in those things. Thanks to our many Conquer Club members who help keep the lights on by doing that. All right. What else? What else is on y'all's minds? What are you thinking about? What are you focused on? Listen, you don't have very many other sports things to keep you not focused on how sad you are that Auburn football isn't here yet, with hockey now done, College World Series done. Some of the trials are now getting over. There's going to be a gap in between. Baseball I know is still going on, but we're entering the All-Star break here soon. So get geared up with thinking about all the things Auburn right now. CJ says, did you see the changes they're making to the football stadium, locker room club, field suites, and the Hall of Fame club? CJ, I'm wondering if you're getting a few things mixed up with the baseball thing. Maybe I'm wrong. I know they addressed a few of those things a while back about some of those things that they're upgrading, but I don't think that there's anything outside of like renovating stuff, anything major, unless that was just announced and I missed it, which is highly likely. I keep saying I make the mistake of checking out 2 hours before this show just because I need to. And then news breaks and I'm not aware of it, which is just how it always seems to go. So you think I learned, but I have to, take that time to kind of zone out for a little bit. That's usually a good time to do it with dinner and stuff like that. So if that was just announced, then I missed it. But give us some details on it if more of what you're talking about, or better yet, CJ, call into the show. Hit the link. See you on YouTube. That link's right up there. And let us know what you're talking about with some more specifics. Listen, Auburn fans have been clamoring for expansions, for renovations, for Jordan-Hare Stadium for quite some time, and they definitely want to start seeing that. Let's see here. What is going on? What is going on here? That's an interesting post. I was checking Twitter real quick to see if anything had dropped about what you were talking about that I missed. I saw an interesting post from a friend. I was like, what's he getting at there? Oh, this reminds me of something that I should have brought up a little bit earlier. Is anybody out there going to be watching War Ready? If you don't know what War Ready is, they are let me back up. The basketball tournament. It's been going on for several years now. It is a summer basketball March Madness style tournament. I think it's got officially 64 teams. And these are comprised of teams where a lot of them have an affiliation or a theme or a connection to something, most of the time to a school. Auburn's has created one. Well, actually, they took over one. Something was called Tampa 2020. They got a bunch of Auburn players on it one year. Auburn connected to it, and they said, hey, man, I like what I'm seeing here, and added more Auburn players. And this year, it is an all Auburn roster. And they're beginning, I think, practice soon. They'll play mid-July in their first couple rounds in Rupp Arena. So it should be exciting because it's the first year where it's all Auburn. Now, let me give you guys a word of warning. And this is not a critique or any way of War Ready or the basketball tournament. What happens a lot of times is these guys have been announced that they're going to play, and then something happens, an injury happens, and they don't want to risk playing on it or something like that, or there's a scheduling conflict and they don't show up. It's happened every single year, it feels like. So if you're counting on somebody specifically to be there, I would not get super stoked about that because I feel like you'll have your hopes dashed, but you should still check it out and you should still be excited. I'm excited for it. I watch it every single year. They've only had really 1 year where they kind of met expectations mostly, but at some point things will start trending in the right direction. It's great that they have an all Auburn team this year. That's why it's called War Ready, off of War Eagle. They didn't want to obviously get into any copyright infringement and all that kind of stuff. All right. CJ's giving us some clarification. Didn't want to call in. I get it. You're right. The Hall of Fame is baseball. The field suites will be permanent at Jordan-Hare, and I think they were temporary last year. Well, so here's the thing about, yes, the Hall of Fame club is for baseball. That's what that was for. That's why I thought you were getting some wires mixed there, mainly. The on-the-field suites, they are in the game, College Football 25 for EA Sports. We saw that today. The thing is, they were put up so quickly that I believe that they were made with the purpose of at any point they could take them down, but just as quickly as they can be taken down, it could be put back up. When there was some viewing opportunities of the stadium inside it earlier this year, I think it was on some stream a player was doing it. You saw that they were all pulled away, and maybe it was at A-Day too. Much easier to clean, not accrue dust and cobwebs and dirt and grime behind them when you don't need to. So yes, it seems like they will be a permanent fixture. I believe as long as people are purchasing it and it is making money for them, they will continue to do it. But I wouldn't necessarily call it something permanent, at least for now. The locker room club will be beneath Jordan-Hare. Yeah, I can't remember exactly what you're referring to there, CJ, so I'll have to go refresh myself. But I think we all agree that it is time for a little TLC on Jordan-Hare, and it's getting that now. If you've noticed, and I beg, I ask people to listen to press conferences, statements, articles that are written, especially directly from the athletics department about such topics. So you actually know what you're talking about. It don't sound ignorant in comments like we had today on TikTok. When are we going to, what do you think about having a video board instead of expanding? It was that comment right there tells me that person didn't even pay attention. They just got what they got the one statement they wanted to react to. No big, CJ. I appreciate you giving us the information this way. I'm just giving you a little ribbing. Would love to meet you sometime virtually on here, though. Basically, do your research before you make a comment. That's what I'm saying, especially about this expansion and renovation topic. We all agree it needs to be done. It needs to be done the right way. But these expansion projects, they come in waves. They are done in sequence of events, it seems like, where something major gets a TLC, and all the while there's kind of what we'll call minor projects happening. You've seen baseball be getting its big project right now. You're seeing football get a little TLC. Bruce Pearl, the understanding is when he made his lifetime contract, there was a commitment to do something in terms of the practice facility at Neville Arena, an expansion of sorts there. So what I would imagine is this video board goes live in 2025. That means by that time, we'll probably get an announcement of what they're going to do with that the basketball arena. The baseball will be done. And maybe even moving into doing something with the basketball arena at that point, which then begs the question, when do you get back around to expansion? Well, you can do it at any point, but the main thing that I think people miss in all this is they say, I want to expand, but you as the fan base have to show that you want to expand. Auburn does a great job of filling up the stadium, but it's not always to capacity. Not always. A lot of the time it is. It needs to be a sellout every single time if you want to expedite this expansion process. A lot of people aren't aware of how much of an effect they have on some of these things they say that they want. It's kind of like when people complain about, well, I'm tired of the company I go visit every time, not doing it the way I like it. Well, then stop buying from them. You can affect the change. So if you want the expansion, show up, buy the tickets, put your butts in the seats, stay the entire time. And then they will start looking around and going, you know what? We are not making any more money because there's no extra room to put in here. Let's find a way to get that expansion done. And then the big question becomes, what's the best way to do that? With this video board going up and being set back a little bit, obviously you could bring the bowl in a little bit, but I wonder if that's what they're going to do. There were some proposed north end zone renovations that came out several years back, and those have since, I think, been officially called off. I think they were, which involved kind of redoing that end zone completely, making it kind of a two-tiered as it was right now, maybe raising it up a little bit with some premium seating. But I would like to see more of a bowl look to it if you could close in somehow the other side. The other thing is, Auburn Stadium is so beautiful right now, especially symmetrically. I don't want to expand just for the sake of expanding. Like, everybody gets so hung up on list rankings and we got to pass this person. And we're so close to passing this team and ranking. So what? Like, just make sure what you have, you do well. I would focus more if I was the team, which it sounds like they're doing, that makes these decisions, is focus on what can we do to make what we have better. The video board is going to do that. It's going to make everything a little bit more symmetrical. The sound's going to be increased a little bit more in there. Give it time, though. Give it time. And things have to change at some point, too. So all of that's definitely on the table. All right, we're sitting at 8:50. I know there is some people who said they were going to call in. Micah, if you're wanting to call in tonight, you're going to miss your opportunity if you don't jump in here. So make sure you hit that link up there. It'll stay live and stay open for just a few more minutes. So don't miss out on your opportunity to do that tonight. We have talked about a bunch. If there's anything that we haven't hit yet that you'd like to talk about, make sure you get that in the chat, the live chat right now too, so that we can talk about that before our time runs out for the most part. We usually get done at the 9 o'clock hour. If there's a conversation going on, that's great. We can stay a little bit longer, but that's usually where we kind of wrap things up. With that in mind, while you're thinking about other comments, questions, topics that you want to have addressed, let me give you a reminder. We talked about it at the beginning of the show. Tomorrow night, live, 8 p.m. Eastern time is the plan. Yes, I know what is happening tomorrow night. And yes, do you really think that's going to be a better experience than this? If you do, then you are a glutton for punishment. Be here or be square. Wild and crazy Auburn uniforms. Clint does this every year based off of fan picks and makes uniforms for people. He will be here to discuss that and anything that you want to discuss with Clint tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. If we do feel that we need to adjust that time, we will, but I don't anticipate that we will, because he really cares about the other thing going on. It's not going to make a difference in your world, to be honest with you, at least for the next couple of weeks. The Auburn Experience live recording at 9 Eastern time this Sunday. That is your next scheduled live stream after tomorrow's Thursday night 8 p.m. show. So 9 Eastern time on Sunday, the Auburn Experience episode 83, based off what's happened this week. We're going to have a really fun show, some fun topics to dive into with Austin, my good friend and yours, co-host of the Auburn Experience show. Do not miss that. Obviously, if you are a fan of the TikTok app, we've referenced it here that we have a ton of live streams on there during the midweek, lunchtime hours, no set time there. That's why I don't call it a regularly scheduled one, but I'd love to see some of y'all there if you're interested in giving that a whirl. It's somewhat like we do here, but it can be a little bit more wild and aggressive, shall we say. And obviously follow us on all social media out there so you don't miss any content. We're putting out all kinds of variety of content, and I've got just a backlog of stuff that we're trying to get to through this summer. So there will be not a need of want of Auburn stuff to watch, listen to, look at across our social media. And we talked about the Conquer Club and stuff already. So if you're interested, check the links in the description for ways that you can help support us. All right. Final topics, last call, so to speak. Let's get them in. David says the first game at Auburn, 1966, Bermuda seats in north end zone, $1. Sit on the Bermuda seats. Was that a grass end zone or something like that for $1? Gone are those days, my friend. Gone are those days. The fact that Auburn fans travel so well helps our team in the postseason. They want money, and that means fans going to the postseason games. I'm not sure what this was in reference to, but yes, we do travel very well. And you might be a little bit behind in the chat unless you were referencing something else there. The same for, I see your comment. The same applies for the stadium expansion. This full context here. He gave it in 2 comments. I'm following now. I'm with you now. Shouldn't those uniforms have Nike logos? No, because we are still an Under Armour team until the end of this athletic year. And Clint will tell you the exact same thing, which I will enjoy to the fullest because I am very sad that we will be leaving Under Armour. Hate me for it. It's my opinion. You got yours too, and they stink just as bad as mine. So I will enjoy every bit. I've enjoyed that logo on Auburn. I think it evokes Auburn in a way with their U and A interlocking and stuff like that. I think it's just a good match. I like Auburn being different. So I will miss seeing that after this season. So I will be soaking it up as much as I can. And remember, Clint was with us for that day, and it was a fun day. It was a very busy week for Clint. He had a lot of interviews that he had to do. David said, same here, hate Nike. Now, David, I'm going to go out on a wild limb, and I think I know why you hate Nike. I'm not even talking about that if that's what you're getting at. this is more about what's best for Auburn. And I think what's best for Auburn is to differentiate itself from the pack, and Under Armour does that. But I also know that I don't have all the information, and this may not be the most financially wise decision to stay with Under Armour for the future. And so I have to just accept it as is. I get, I'm reading into your comment, why you probably don't like them. And I don't disagree with that if that's what it is. Or maybe you just don't like Nike. I don't care. I care who gives me the cheapest usually, but I like the way that Under Armour has paired nicely with Auburn over the years. So, but things must change. CJ points out exactly what I was talking about here. I like how the logo looks like Auburn a little. Exactly what I was just saying. Noah's here. Good to see you. No, we are about to wrap up here, sir. So I got here a little bit late, but glad you stopped by. We have got we've had a busy night of plenty of things to discuss Auburn related. David says their management. I think that's a nice way to get at what you're actually getting at there. You don't have to like, no, I'm not even going to that. By the way, talking about culling yourself and really thinking through, do I need to say that or not? If you want to watch an entertaining show, go watch the Auburn Experience episode. Was it episode 82 this past week, this Sunday? It's in the audio too, but Austin and I misbehaved a little bit. I thought those crazy uniforms in the future, I thought those were for crazy uniforms in the future. Well, it's not for the future. It's just for funsies. It's literally just for funsies. It's not about the future. This is just a what if type of thing. And I think, much to Clint's chagrin, there is a lot of reactions that you typically get with this. A lot of old man on a porch waving a stick at the kids in his lawn type of stuff. And yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Noah says, what do you think about Auburn what do you think Auburn needs to work on before August 31st? My answer is our O-line, everything. I think you're right on. Auburn's number one concern is our offensive line taking the next big step forward. They've made small baby steps every single year. I will acknowledge that, but they have not been enough. That shows you how far they have fallen. This really needs to be the year that we take that step forward as an offensive line, as an offense, as a program, to show that we can produce that again and that we can put together a more well-rounded, capable passing game and run game consistently. And if you can't do that, everything else will suffer, even the defense. So it's a good thought, and I agree with that as well, that the O-line, until it becomes a reliable thing, will always be my main point of concern. We are sitting at the 9 o'clock hour. I think we have covered the majority of things that we need to discuss here. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me, spending some time on this beautiful summer evening. Well, I hope it's beautiful wherever you are. Talking about all things Auburn. Best way to say it, if it's orange and blue, it's what we do. And that's what we have done here tonight. And I appreciate you being a part of this stream, being a part of our little family within the Auburn family, and hanging out with me. Hope to see you tomorrow night, 8 Eastern time, Sunday, 9 Eastern time, or maybe next Wednesday at 8 p.m. for another Auburn family night. Until I talk to you again, my friends, War Eagle.